Episode 7. Luckily, we haven't got fired yet, but we are back. Episode 7, first year Woes. We just might get fired. And for those of you who keep asking, where's episode 1 and where's episode 5, I think. Those would have got us fired for sure. So they on hold for a second. Just know we will redo them because we haven't did our contracts yet, so we can't get fired just yet.
Who? I did mine.
Right.
I did mine.
I am Mr. M. I got my man, Mr. Brown. I got Mr. Macmillan. And we got a special guest. We got a lady in the building this time, so be on your best behavior like last time with the principal, okay? We have Miss Blue Allen. Introduce yourself, Miss Blue Allen.
Hello, world. I am Mrs. Blue Allen. Currently, I am an 8th grade science teacher in
Don't tell us that.
at the best school in the West. I'll let you figure that out.
Okay. I like your enthusiasm.
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so we're talking about first year Woes this time, and I'm not sure if I want to go first because mine are a doozy. I think it's guaranteed we all stayed late that first year, right? But I might have y'all beat. McMillan, what was the latest you stayed that first year?
The latest I stayed, I think it was 8 p.m.
Okay, see, that's about where I was. Miss Blue Allen, how long did you stay?
Oh, I was in there till about 9:30, 10. Janitor walked me out. Yeah.
The janitor?
Oh, yeah.
Damn.
First year, it's when you OCD, you coming into a new hood. I was student teaching in Red Oak, and then I went to Pleasant Grove at the semester mark. So, yeah.
Right on.
It took me a minute to go in there and kind of get my stuff situated, but I think the average, even now, I think is about 8:30, 8:39.
Oh, yeah,
It's still late.
Yeah, still late.
Just go on and spend the night. Have that sleeping bag. Mr. Brown, how long were you in that thing?
You said first year?
First year, how long were you in that thing, man?
Man, when I was doing my first set of finals, that right before Christmas, and it was that Friday, it was a work day, bro. I got there at normal time. They had us till lunch. So I started my task at about 1:30. I'm not lying to you. I walked out of that thing about midnight and went straight to a daiquiri shop, bro.
No, sir.
No way.
Sir.
Este no bueno. Este no bueno.
Midnight.
I had no work to do. Had no work to do over Christmas break, but it just everything. I didn't realize that I was gonna have to score my teacher maids then. I didn't. It was just things and that my neighbor was there with me. She was with me till about 9:30, and she was like, all right. She was like, all right, Brown, I'm out. I was like, I'm good. Don't even worry about it. Had that music jamming, had that Kanye flowing in there, and just up. And it was by midnight. I was like, well, I was going to the daiquiri shop anyways. There's one down the street, so let me just go pull up.
Okay.
Midnight.
Hearing this don't make me feel that bad. Mine is like yours, McMillan. I was there till 8:30. But this teacher who started the same time I did, she stayed till, 9:30, 10. She told me, and I was like, golly.
Women typically stay later than men their first year.
I mean, yeah, you said it. You said that OCD. I think we as men get to the point we be like, bro, I'm going home. Straight up, I'm going home.
Walking classrooms, posters be sideways and stuff. I'm like, you gonna fix it? I'm like, nah, it's good.
My classroom management still A1 from day one, though. Okay. But I think I'm gonna start with mine. One of my biggest woes, and it wasn't even with the kids. I had a really good group of kids. My biggest woe was sitting in these meetings, and they kept using all of the acronyms, bro.
Ooh. Ding, ding, ding. Number one. Who's the winner?
I'm sitting in there, and my mentor teacher, she knew I ain't have a clue. She looked at me like this. I looked at her and she did me like this. And so I just didn't listen to the rest of the meeting. I just waited till the meeting was over.
And they just go.
Yes.
Yeah.
They don't break it down.
At all.
They don't break it down. They just say IEPs, BIP, what?
But you know what's funny about them
PLC.
not breaking it down is right before that, if I'm not mistaken, they had us stand and introduce ourselves as New Year's teachers. And I'm sitting here like, oh, that wasn't a good idea. You know, that wasn't smart at all, you know, but that was my biggest one for me. Like I said, I had a really good group of kids. I didn't have discipline problems. I had a lot of parent involvement. So it was kind of easy my first year, which really spoiled me. But man, them acronyms, I promise. We finna go into year 4 and I'm still like, what's he say? What is that? How
It
many?
changed every year.
All the time. And they be the same thing.
Yeah.
But McMillan, tell us about it, man. That first year over there at that campus.
Yes, say, man. Hey, my first year was one of many. I'm not gonna go all of them. I can go all day. But my other math teacher, okay. So this guy, he had been teaching for 20 years. He had 20 years experience. So, you know, I always look for guidance. All right,
Of
so I can be
course.
better. I always want to be better. I even asked you. I mean, you used to tell me about the classroom management stuff, and I used to try to take some and try to apply it. But I feel like I could never get anything done because he would come in my classroom and then he'll just start talking. He'll go on and on and on and on, and then I find myself I didn't grade nothing. I be trying to work while he talking, but I end up getting pulled into the talking. And this happened like for most of the school year.
It was a
And
trap.
then,
Where that sign at, Mr.
but
Brown?
no, not even that. Because what happened was he didn't even make it through the whole school year. He didn't make it. He
Oh, he
didn't
was
make it
done.
past the first semester.
You said he was 20 years in?
Yeah.
Oh, he was done. He was done. He was
No,
in
he
there
wasn't
really.
done
He
though.
was in there venting to you, really. That was his cry for
Oh,
help, probably.
it was a lot of vent, and I understand he told me why, but I'm just saying, it was a lot, and I didn't know how to say no. I got to do this, or it'll be just too late. So, and then he didn't end up finishing. He had to leave, and just the second part of the school year was just
Yeah, most definitely.
because I was a first year teacher. They couldn't get another person inside of his room. So we tried to do all these different strategies, and they changed the strategy like they changed draws. We was changing
Gospel.
strategies like they changed draws.
Gospel. He changed the acronyms like Blue Allen said. And the crazy thing is, if the
Oh
first
man.
acronym did not work, what
All right.
make you think changing the name is going? I'm
And
not
that's
going.
education. We recycle everything.
Everything, nothing new
Everything's
under the sun.
recycled. Nothing's new.
But
You
that
know,
was it
poor
though.
McMillan. I just felt so sorry for him.
Come on, tell us about it then. I'm excited to hear this one. You got one. Look at she in here too, like she finna let it out.
So, education is my second career. I came into education from the law field. I was a practicing attorney, and had some kids. You know, and the hours got to be a little crazy. So, you have to look for a career where it's conducive for you to raise kids, especially going through divorce. And so, teaching it was. I started off in Red Oak in Waxahachie, where the kids was just like, "Oh, hi, hello," bringing you apples and would sit down. Like you just raise that one eyebrow and they're just really shocked. And so I got a call from one of my principal friends in Dallas. It's like, "Hey, I want you to come in and interview for this job." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And he told me where the school was. Now I'm from Pleasant Grove. Really didn't put two and two together, because when I was growing up, the trash man, if they saw you out of pocket, they was going to snatch you back in pocket. That's our era. So went to the school and I sat in my car and I kind of watched the kids, and I was like, what is this? Right. And so I was about to just drive off. I wasn't going to even do the interview. So the principal saw me in the car. I was like, "Oh yeah, come on in." So I interviewed. That was in November. I didn't hear anything in December. I was like, "Yes, let me just stay out here." Got a call when they were coming back from winter break. It was like, "Hey, can you come sign your paperwork?" And I was like, "Oh yeah." So I was like, "Okay." So yeah, I got hired for an interventionist position. I was going to be a tax interventionist for science and math. And I was like, "Okay, I like that."
Sound good.
I mean, they hooked me. They was like, yeah, you'll have like 11 kids, you know, they'll rotate. I was like, oh, yeah, that's word.
11.
They laughed at you before you walked out the door.
So I get there day one. They tell me, say, hey, well, we need to move you into a science classroom. I was like, oh, okay. I said, what's going on? I thought I was going to be like a helper. Nah. They locked their previous teacher in the lab prep room, had him trapped in there all day. They were looking for him. He's sitting in there, and he was a little Asian dude. He was just sitting in there reading his book and doing crossword puzzles. But they had locked him in there all day. Y'all should have seen this setup. They didn't put like some little rope and stuff. He couldn't open either door. And they had gone through 5 subs. This is my class.
Oh, my goodness.
So the first 2 weeks, I kept waiting for Ashton Kutcher to pop out and be like, oh, you've been punked. Because I could not believe, you know, and I'm like, I would have never did this with a teacher in the classroom. So about that 8th day in the classroom, I went in there like, lean on me. I was like, look at here, let me tell you something. I think I just started with one cuss word, and they was like, did she just cuss? I was like, let me tell y'all something. I will punch you in the middle of your throat. Your thorax will swell up, and you will not be able to talk for a month if we don't get ourselves together.
We just might get fired.
And so, you know what, man, this low group of kids that they was like, oh, you're just going to be behavior management. So it was never any discipline. Like, they were surprised. One day I had a walkthrough, and they didn't think any kids was in the classroom because they were so quiet and on task. And I was like, well, we may not know the material, but we're not going to be in here acting a fool. That's what we're not about to do. I don't give a you better do them crossword puzzles with fidelity and with close your mouth. You know what I'm saying? And so they went from like 1% passing to like 48% passing. So now you're the guru. Oh my goodness, we got to bring her back. And so, yeah, since then I've never ever, when someone told me, oh yeah, we're going to have you do this, in the back of my head, I'm like, this is a setup. I ain't going to do it.
It is a setup.
And so I tried to Lauren McMillan when he got there. I say, hey, brother, you know, he's my husband's favorite teacher ever. And I was like, I'm kind of jealous because my husband just like, oh man, Mac is on it. Mac is this, you know, my husband's a math person. I was like, well, I do it in science. So, and then he would come, I'm like, oh man. He said, what is wrong with these kids? I said, it's the participation generation. You know, when we were in school, we didn't get awards for just showing up. You know, we didn't get awards for being second best. You had to work for it. Somewhere along the way, somebody said, well, if they're trying, give them a certificate. So now the only thing they do is what? Barely try.
Oh, that's that Momphia clique. They thick out here. And Momphia clique will come for you.
So
that was the first year?
That was my first year.
That sounded like that was about the first 2 years.
Yeah.
Strong.
My first, now that my first semester was just rough. By my whole first year though, I was doing classroom management classes for other teachers as a second year teacher. So it was like I got moved into leadership so quickly, and I was like, look, I just was here trying to just make a check. You know, I was trying to go home, but you find out that 4 o'clock, you don't get to leave. You get to leave at 6 o'clock. You was like, what?
Right.
6 turned to 8, 8 turned to 10. So
that is a thing.
Yeah.
That's a whole deal right there.
18-hour shifts, and you only getting paid for 7 of them hours. Yeah, right.
Easy. Mr. Brown.
Ooh.
Right. We gotta take a breather before we let Mr. Brown tell us about. That was a lot. I thought that was the first 2 years. She talked about her first year. I'm thinking, okay,
that might have been just the first semester, bro. Like, yeah, but you know, I can attest to that. You know, I came to education out of mortgage law. Funny story, right? And so, you know, but this was always my end goal. I was working there to get from A to B. And so I get there my first semester is I get the kids right before Christmas, right? I'm in there long enough to learn their name and give them an ACP that their prior teacher did not prepare them for at all. That's it.
You babysitting. They just ready to go home for the break.
So this is why I'm there till midnight when I'm grading this test. Cause that's why I'm grading the test because 1, I don't even know what it is. 2, you know, I'm putting in grades. I'm learning the system as I'm putting in the grades. I'm putting in there for those of us in DISD, good old power school.
Oh yeah.
Switch the classes over to a new teacher, the grades get lost.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes,
so
they do. Yes.
you talk about first year teacher, before the end of my first year, and really my first year was just second semester, by the end of the semester, I'm tutoring teachers on how to use PowerSchool because that day when I'm in there for 12 hours, I learned everything PowerSchool could do.
I bet you did.
Right.
That day. And so I was like, bet, say less. I now know how this works because I had literally had to put in the first, second, and third 6 weeks grades, then exam grades. Then go and check this. Then I had already talked to whoever, hey, look at the grades. Make sure you don't have any kids with like 69s because we don't give 69s. They got to fail with a 68 or you got to bump them up, so I got to figure out how to go and do that. So all of that, right? That ain't, forget first year woes, second week woe. Kids go to Christmas, right? Defeated. None of them passed the test. Because again, the prior teacher was so busy being their friend that she wasn't teaching. So I get a set of defeated kids come in. I'm like, y'all good. We just didn't pass the test. Don't look at that grade. We passed the semester. We got this. I got to work through that and reset the whole classroom. They came into a classroom that was nothing like what their buddy had. And so I was fighting them on that. But honestly, them the kids that like now I can't do nothing without them. They be bombing into my Zooms now. Oh, y'all ain't done yet? Oh, I was just trying to get in here and see what Mr. Brown talking about. Y'all need to listen to him, man. You know what he's talking about, this history stuff. Bro, I
love.
Write on a piece of paper. I couldn't even get you to put your name on the paper last year.
That's love.
So now you didn't text somebody in this class to get the Zoom code just so you could. Are you doing your work? Oh no, Miss Brown, I'm over here doing my work, bro. I want you to call my mom's, bro. I will text your mama right now. What you mean?
Right.
Why your mama gotta be so fun?
No, I don't have them, so I ain't gotta worry about it. There's some nice aunties out there though. But
He said some nice aunties. Wait a minute.
Yeah, you missed our episode. I think it was episode 4. Why your mama gotta be so fine? You gotta
yep, exactly what
rock
that was.
with us.
But man, just first year, what was just y'all hit the acronyms and the students. But my thing, the biggest thing, and it's still one of my biggest things, is lack of parent involvement. My good, I get to a point where you tell the parent, okay, I'm at the point where I don't even want your help. Just don't hinder me. Like, in Mr. Brown class, you failed a test, you send the email or a text to your parents, say, hey, mom, due to my grades in this class, I need to stay for tutoring this week and next week. Phone blow up. I'm like, go out there and answer your phone. Your parent call you. I'm thinking they calling the fuss at the kid. I'm, handling every other look. Oh, Mr. Brown, my mom said I can stay this day. I say, okay, look, these are the days I stay. You tell your mom what day you staying. I'm not making decisions for you. Just your grade. These are the days. It's on the board. These are the days I'm going to be here. Pick the one that fits you. And so I go out there and step out with the kid. And the kid, kind of looking, I'm like, oh, what's up, bro? He like, my dad tripping. I'm like, let me talk to him. Hey, how you doing, sir? Just, hey, son's done no trouble. It's early in the 6 weeks, but I like to catch problems early. My man's is not quite getting it, so we're going to take some extra time. We're going to get it. He close, but we ain't there. But we're for that. Plus, I got options. You know what I'm saying? Well, he need to get on the bus because he got to get home. Well, I understand, so what we can do is we got a late bus. Now he need to be home at this time. All right, cool. So he can come with me. He'll be one of the first students I stay with. He can, catch an Uber. Now, we ain't got money for Uber. I'm like, well, he got a job. He said to pay for the – that's my money. Okay, cool. Well, my man's got champion and now he's on you can't pay for an Uber once a week. No, hey, bet I'll pay for the Uber. Well, no, I don't want your money. So what you want is just say no. Just tell me no. How about that? I wouldn't want to pay for the Uber. I'm just trying to see how many times you're gonna tell me no. Right? No, just tell me you want your son to fail the class and we can just go on. But that's not what I'm saying. That's exactly what you're saying. Let's have this moment, sir. I was like, you know what? I'm sorry. I'm not gonna tell you how to parent. Cool. I'm gonna put him on the bus, make sure he get there at home and do whatever you need him to do at the crib. We'll figure something out. All right, but it's just too many of them situations. Like, why am I arguing with you about your son coming to tutoring?
Oh yeah, that parent involvement is a big difference. I've been on both sides of it, man, to be honest. And my first couple of years I had it, scores were way higher, bro. It's not even close. And if you ask me what's the difference, I'm gonna tell you that's the difference. It has to be parallel to what's going on at school, at home in some sort. Mm-hmm. Now, I know most parents are not teachers. I understand that, but they have to do something that is in line with what's going on in class because the kids are going to apply what they're learning in that, non-restrictive atmosphere, So until we can just get parents to understand that we not babysitting anymore and we not daycare, some of these kids will never – I'm not going to say that, but, We just might get fired if I say that part. But
I already knew where was going. But you're right though. Like,
the village mentality when we are talking about kids having responsibilities and parents being involved. You know, I was raised by my grandmother because my parents were on drugs, but my grandmother also had, you know, my teacher who knew the situation. So my teacher made sure that we stayed the course. You know, my principal knew what the situation is. So everybody was involved and they would keep the parent involved. But my granny also understood that education, you know, was a way out. So older generations of adults, they understand the importance of education. You know, now we have rappers and all these extra famous people who maybe barely have a high school diploma, but they're making millions of dollars. So we have millions of dollars being paid to kids to play sports who don't have a degree. You know what I'm saying? So what are we offering kids now that's competing with this lifestyle? We're just saying, hey, you need to stay in school. You're going to get a good job. You're going to make $100,000. Well, miss, why would I stay in school for $100,000 when if I get my jump shot right, I can go make $100 million? You know?
Right. And see, that's what we talking about too. We said that.
And I have to tell them what the odds are.
You know, they've never seen education work. So it doesn't exist, but they've seen Future sign $1 million deal with Sprite. You know, they've seen LeBron sign $100 million deal with Nike, and then they got to come sit in our class and hear me talk about it.
Right? Photosynthesis. What? We don't want to know about photosynthesis. I want to know how can I photo this money. That's what I want to know. And that's the generation we are. We have created this ready-made microwave generation who don't know the value of research and input and working hard, you know. And I'm not saying it's everybody, but look at my generation of parents. What's the first thing we said? When I have kids, I ain't gonna treat my kids this way. I ain't gonna whoop my kids. So you not whooping your kids, have your kids swinging from the ceiling fan in school. So when I'm calling you, that ain't my child. And I send you a video. Oh no, that's not him. And I send you a shot.
That's how this episode.
Like him. You walk in my classroom and see him. Oh, he must have taken his medicine.
Oh, it's now some medicine.
You know, now the medicine issue.
This generation said, I'm not. Same generation said, I'm not gonna make my kids go to church either.
Oh yeah.
All right.
They giving these kids grilling like Skittles now, man.
Right.
But okay, so I did get an email about the most embarrassing moment. For those of you out there that are watching, if you have a embarrassing moment that you would like to share, we keep it anonymous. You send it to WeJustMightGetFired@gmail.com. We will read it, and we won't drop a name. Now, this one says, my second year of teaching, I had a student who had a reputation for being disrespectful, defiant, and completely terrorized the halls. He never showed up to my class, ever. 2 months in, I get called to the office for a parent meeting for student. You know, call him Jay. That's what she said his name should be. I go, you know, notebook, records, tracker, everything, you know, just make sure you got your evidence when you go to these meetings.
Of course.
All the teachers go on about Jay. He gets to me and I say, well, I never met him. Don't know his behaviors, but he's currently failing due to lack of attendance. Everyone, including mom, turns. I'm thinking, so the newbie, me, said something wrong. Like, was I not supposed to say that he don't come to class? The AP goes, ma'am, he has been in your class. You're actually the only class he goes to. The kid Jay had been in my class every day. No problems, no attitude, no issue. Our school took paper and pencil attendance. We still had student hall monitors and message runners. Apparently, he took my words seriously when I said new year, new you, because he completely changed his name and blended in. Needless to say, I make everyone write their name now and take the verbal and written attendance. These are the things that I could not make up. So this kid outsmarted, I hate to say this, outsmarted his teacher and had been sitting in the class under an alias. I guess what we can say.
Yes,
hey, man,
that's exactly what happened.
There is no teacher prep program that can prepare you for that. I don't care if you came through with your undergrad or if you were AC. There is no way you are prepared for something like that.
No, we're not going to talk about teacher prep programs. That's a different episode.
But yeah, you know, I think about some of these, you know, these woes and I wonder, like, there is no way to prepare for this stuff. You know, I told y'all about the time the boy set the girl hair on fire. That wasn't my first year, but, you know, these woes are whoa. You know,
I think the key to remembering, and it's always really unique to watch the teachers who have kids and the teachers who don't have kids, because they handle certain situations differently. As a mom of 5, you know, it's just some behaviors that I expect some kids to exhibit. So when I see it, it's not something that I'm like, oh my God, you know, I'm on it. Like I can see it in your eyes before you even think about it. I know what you, no, don't even, no, let's go get you choked out. Don't try it, right? Versus my counterparts, you know, I mentor tons of new teachers. I'm trying to straight out of grad school. They 23, 22, no kids, living their best life. And I watched, you know, a kid, case in point, called one of my new teachers a bitch. And she lost it. She was like, oh my, she cried. I mean, and who cries?
She cried.
And I was trying to figure out, like, what about it? Just, she cried.
No weeping.
it gotta be in you, not on you.
I just, you know what I'm saying? I was like, and what did you say back? She was like, I didn't say anything. I was like, how could you just disrespect me? Like, girl, if you don't get in there and slide him across that lab table and stop playing with him, like, what is wrong with you? You know, and so, but it's now, and I would even hate to say it now that she's kind of been acclimated, you know, to the environment. Now she's, I mean, I won't say that she's tougher, but it doesn't catch her off guard. And so my advice to new teachers, and especially if you don't have kids, is always there's a school that has good, there's some schools that have better, and then there's some schools that have what you just gonna get all the time, you know. And so, and if you can go to a school where you truly get neighborhood kids and excel, you can go to all other campuses, you know. So other than that, it was like,
All right, well,
she cried.
we didn't get fired, but we made it through this first year of Woes. We Just Might Get Fired, episode 7 in the books. Thank you for watching. Thank you, Miss Blue Allen, for stopping by, you know, hopping on here with us today.
You know,
It's nice to have a lady's perspective. You know?
it's nice.
We hope you'll come back and see us on another one. Other than that, we are out. The bell just rang.